There's this old offensive joke that goes, how many Polacks does it take to do something easy? It only took one Polak to beat up a shark. And it took a lot of brave Polish folks to do one of the hardest things imaginable. Fight back against Hitler and Stalin, build a prosperous nation, and set an example not just for other members of the Eastern Bloc, but for the whole world. It took about 38 million, as it turns out, and one cold bath.
I would put it like this. I was born in a sociological laboratory which ran 3 times faster as ordinary country.
Poland's turnaround from the dark day of September 1st, 1939 through the reign of the USSR to the present has been nothing short of remarkable. How did it happen? And how did it take Poland to the forefront of the sausage industry? Nope, it's always been the worldwide leader there. How did it take Poland to the forefront of the esports industry?
My name is Jan Kubań. I am from Poland. I am mathematician, physician, engineer, creator of software company, and now president of Economical Foundation. I was born in 1959 in communist Poland. We were just allowed to make some petty works and, petty business, just buying and selling vegetables, maybe some cleaning companies and so on. But one big advantage of Poland was that agriculture was private.
Indeed, that was unique in the Eastern Bloc. Private farms accounted for most of Poland's total agricultural output, and agriculture comprised almost a fourth of Poland's economy. But under the boot of the USSR, even small bright spots got crushed.
When I was 10 years old, I moved to the Soviet Union. Their fate towards Lenin was even stronger than my fate toward Jesus and God. And it astonished me because, Lenin was a let's say, a man, so nothing special, but they adored and admired Lenin, big deal. And then when I was 14 years old, I came back to Poland, and I saw that Poland is gradually going down from the economical point of view. And how did I see this? Gradually, year after year, the consecutive years, we have less opportunity to buy meat, to buy fresh vegetables. And even, I remember that when I was young, we were able to buy bananas and some oranges. And when I was a teenager, it was completely impossible to buy them. But the propaganda in television, they said, no, we are the 8th economy in the world. The first one is the USSR. Then there is the United States, France, Great Britain, Germany, etc. Japan, Japan takes 7th place, and Poland is 8th. But in this period of time, we have shortages. I have only 2 pairs of pants.
The Soviet Union continued to clamp down, not just on Poland, but on the majority of Central and Eastern Europe through the 1980s.
In the socialist country, you just did, some kind of job. You didn't even know for whom you are doing this, who needs this, so it was hopeless. We were doing nothing. It was a period of time when the Polish economy went completely down. So it started in the mid of 80s and it lasted 5 or 6 years. And I remember that I stayed in line for 4 hours just to buy 1 liter of milk and half kilogram of bread. So we saw that something is going wrong in Poland, that we have no liberties, we cannot produce, we cannot establish our own businesses.
But with the Soviet Union teetering on the brink of collapse, just a month and 3 days before the fall of the Berlin Wall, the cold bath or shock therapy was about to begin. No, not shock therapy from The Witcher, but an economic plan to transition rapidly to a capitalist market economy. Here's the official title of the plan, named after this guy. Help us out in the comments with this one. But before you do it, why not hit that thanks button below and donate to help us continue making videos? Okay, so shock therapy sought to do all of this. greatly reduce the runaway inflation, decontrol most prices, eliminate shortages, make the Polish currency convertible into other currencies at market rates, cease the subsidization of state enterprises, and remove most restrictions on foreign trade.
The foundation of this transition was cut the hands of the state. So the state let you do what you want, but you have to pay some taxes, but you can do everything you want.
On January 1st, 1990, price controls on most products were removed. Almost overnight, the long waiting lines outside stores disappeared. Most importantly, the number of private businesses skyrocketed, from 1,275 in 1988 to 11,693 at the end of 1989, more than 33,000 at the end of 1990, and more than 45,000 by the end of 1991. Unsurprisingly, a greater percentage of Poles say life is better now than it was under communism than any other Eastern European power.
It was a boom not only of entrepreneurship, but also of freedom. There were a lot of people just coming to my office and they are showing me their concepts, their innovations, how to run a company, what to do. You know, for the one point of view, the shock therapy, you can lose your work. But from the other point of view, you switch your activity. You see that you have to be productive, that you have to produce things which are necessary for others, which are demanded for the others. And also, immediately, there were a lot of foreign companies establishing here in Poland, and they started to hire people. So the best period of time for liberty and for free entrepreneurship was from the 1990 till 2000.
And as any child of the 90s knows, that's when video games really took off. Shout out to GoldenEye 007 on N64. Comment if you grew up playing that one. But the gaming industry especially took off in Poland.
So 1990s was the starting point of computer games. Probably the next generation, the people, the kids of people like me, they saw their opportunity in software games. And as I said, it was very beginning, so they can develop this kind of economy and this kind of production.
Cyberpunk.
It's a strong, very strong branch of Polish economy, but I know only this, okay? Because I stopped playing computer games when I was about 30s, when my first baby was born.
Katowice has become a gathering ground for gamers, host of the finals of the Intel Extreme Masters, and a force for economic prosperity in Poland. Even the city's mayor is getting into it. He said recently, "We have a fantastic stadium called Spodek and our city is changing. It used to be all mining, and now we want it to become an entertainment city. Video games can help." It was the suddenly free market of early 90s Poland that planted the seed for the video game industry to flourish. And there's no better example than Projekt, distributor of the Witcher video games, based on a series of books by a Polish author.
There was the Atari, I think 65XE, with the cassette player and the cartridges. That was popular because someone started importing them here, but they were still fairly expensive. And then the Commodore 64.
Right.
And then high school, it was already started opening up, so it was more. I think then of course the technology was progressing, so PCs were still kind of like the Hercules and the EGA card. So that wasn't really very attractive, but then there was Amiga, and Amiga here in Poland was huge. But then it started growing into business. So when more people got Amigas, and actually, then some people were bringing these Amigas and selling them here, going every week to Berlin, buying them and reselling them here with a profit.
In those days, Marcin specialized in importing games into Poland and translating them into Polish, which just a few years earlier under communism would have been impossible. By May of 2020, Projekt was worth $8.1 billion, making it the biggest video game company in Europe, in large part thanks to Poland's and The Witcher's shock therapy.
Piss off already, you... Oh, nay. My vow of silence. Oh, for naught.